I decided to invest $5 every single day starting last year in January of 2022. And it was really surprising to me not only how much money I was able to save up over the last year, but also how much money I was actually able to invest into the stock market. But then I got this comment. Correct me if I am wrong, but if you just bought monthly, you would have ended up with exactly the same outcome. My point being, if you load a month's worth of cash each month, there's no benefit to pay in daily. That's actually a remarkable question. It's a very valid point. Instead of wasting time investing into the stock market every single day, what happens if we only invest one time a month? So in this video, let's actually look at what happens if you invest every single day versus if you only invest every single month, along with the calculations and a free tool that I'll share with you at the end of the video. Now, the reason I started investing $5 a day is really to inspire new beginner investors. See, investing can seem overwhelming. Like, I've been there and it was like, how do I actually get started? Because every time I think about investing, like somebody comes up with like, oh, $25,000 and here's my $50,000 portfolio and look at this $125,000 portfolio and now I'm a millionaire. And I'm like, yo, I'm still trying to get out of debt and I got like bills to pay and like, how do you do this? So what we're gonna do for today's daily versus monthly comparison is really look at the one that I've been investing in since January of 2022, and that is VOO. Now what this ETF does is every time I put $5 in, it actually tracks the S&P 500. That is the top 500 companies in America, and anytime you invest, your money gets spread across invested in all those 500 companies. Makes it immediately diversified. Now what's nice about the S&P 500 is if you look back over the many years in the past, it has grown at an average rate of 10% per year. Let's hop over to Google Sheets and look at exactly how this works. Now the first thing I want to actually share with you, if you go over to Google Sheets on your own, this is super cool. They have this awesome formula that you can plug in to really see what the stock price looks like over the last year. Literally every single day, it'll let you know what the closing stock price was for whatever you plug in. So here is the formula, in case you're wondering. It's equals Google Finance and then like VOO. Did you see what it just did there? It actually popped down. As soon as I plugged in and I pasted this particular formula, it went down and gave me all my dates, because right here, I have the date from January 1st, 2022, all the way till December 31st, 2022. Daily, I want the VOO price. Now you can plug in whatever stock you want there. Let's say, for example, you want to see what Apple looks like. You could just type in AAPL, that's the ticker symbol for Apple, hit enter, it'll load, and there's all the prices for Apple. So as I zoom in here, and if you look, every single day that the stock market's open, it lets me know what the price of VOO was on that particular day. So the very first day of the trading day of the stock market last year was on January 3rd. We invested $430. Now there's a couple things you could have done. Let's say you just invested one time a year. Now that would have been a little bit silly in the year 2022. Not every year, but in 2022, that would have been a little bit tough. Here's why. If you invested like $10,000 on 1/3, you would have had an average price of $439 per share, which means at the very end of the year, if we scroll all the way down here, your value is now only $351 a share. So you lost a ton of money on your $10,000 investment. So what I did is I went through and I did some calculations. What does it look like at $5 every single day? And then what does it look like if I just invest that on a monthly basis per the question? Now, what we're gonna have to assume is that every first day of the month that the stock market's open, that's when you're gonna put your money down monthly. Because at the end of the day, I'm not gonna pick a magical day in the middle of the month or the end of the month. We're just gonna say at the beginning of the month, every single month, we're gonna put in our monthly payment. And then we're gonna compare that to the $5 a day challenge that we're currently doing. So here's how I did this. I took, of course, the rundown that Google provides, and then I put my $5 every day that the stock market's open. And then how you calculate this is I just took the $5 divided by the stock price, and that's how many shares I would have bought per day. The cool thing about the Robinhood investing app, it allows you to invest fractionally. You don't have to buy a full share every single day, because that would be costing us, in the beginning of January of last year, for example, like $400 a day. I don't got that. I only got $5 a day, so that's the beauty of this. But what's really cool is at the end of the year, I've racked up now to over 5 shares. And all I had to do was $5 a day. That's the cool thing about it. So even though we're doing $5 a day, on the monthly end of it, we're gonna do $105 every start of the month. Now the reason I did $105 is because, as you know, some months have 31 days, February only has 28, and some months have 30 days. So it makes the math kind of funny. So just to kind of average that out, it's $105 a month. that equals that $5 every day. We're also not gonna make up for the weekends. Now, in my actual investment challenge that I'm doing, that I'm continuing on for this next year, I do actually make up for weekends and holidays. But for this example, we're gonna ignore that. We're only investing $5 every time that the stock market's open. So let's go by this month by month, and then we're gonna look at what does this look like? Which one is the better method in 2022? And then also some things that you need to be careful of in the future if you're actually gonna look at this, comparing apples to apples. So in January, I bought a total of 0.238 shares at my $5 a day. If you would have invested $105 in that same month on January 3rd, you would have got 0.227. Now, of course, right off the bat, you're like, wait a second. So if I invested right at the beginning of January 3rd, for example, I would have only gotten 0.2276 blah, blah, blah shares. But because I invested every single day of January, I actually got a little bit more at 0.238. Yes, that's true, because we started the month at $439 a share, and we ended the month at $413 per share, and there was actually some days in that particular month of January that hit below 400 at 396 and 398. So because you're investing every day, you're taking advantage of some of those dips each and every day that it happens. In February, though, it's a little bit different. Because we only had 28 days in February, my $5 a day only gave $95 for that month, which means I added an additional 0.2336 shares of VOO. But if I would have invested on February 1st my $105, I would have made a little bit more at 0.2511. So in this case, it kind of balances out. So let's get right down to the end of the year. What does this look like looking at all of 2022? The total investment of my $5 a day would have been $1,255 in both cases, whether you're doing $5 a day or one time every month. But with the $5 every single day, taking advantage of the ups and the downs of every single stock market day, I ended up with a total shares of 3.3544. And then with the $105 put in at the first of every single month, I again invested $1,255 and ended with a total of 3.2919 shares. Doing it every single day actually got me more shares. My average cost by investing $5 a day ended up being $375.98. Now, because we invested on the highs and the lows, that average cost means once VOO reaches that amount or goes above that amount, then I'll be positive. I should be making money on all the money I invested. If it goes below the $375.98, then I'll be losing some money. The average cost of the once per month challenge, well, that is $381.86. But the stock market isn't really good right now. In fact, it's still down. So let's take a look at that. If we go over to Google and I type in VOO, the S&P 500 index is at 370.11 as of the recording of this video right now. So if I take 370.11, let's see how much money we have. So 370.11, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put equals this times the amount of shares I got by investing every single. That means my portfolio balance right now at $5 a day is $1,241. Now, of course, we're not gonna sell. We're gonna wait until this goes long term with the goal of that 10% average return, giving us more money than we put in the long term. If I do the same thing by coming over here and doing equals 370.11 times my 3.29 shares, if I invested one time a month, I would have $1,218. With the investment of being $1,255, of course, down even more as a result of deciding to invest on the first day of every single month. But hold on a second, it's not all rainbows and unicorns as this math is showing us, because we don't know what the stock market is gonna do. All investing comes with a lot of risk. You gotta do your own research and be ready for that roller coaster ride. So for example, we don't know that 2022 was gonna be good or bad. We don't know what 23 and 24 and 25 are. Sure, the gurus can guess, but let's be honest, at the end of the day, they're 99% wrong, because nobody knows what's gonna happen 1, 5, 10, or 15 years from now. The goal would be is to come up with a consistent plan. So I'm not actually here to say that, just because you asked the question doesn't make sense to invest once a month or daily. Right now, the math is saying, well, you should have invested daily in 2022, but that's not always the case, because if we would have had a bull run, which means that the market was going up in 2022, so for example, in 2021, when everything was going great, well, then I would have looked like a fool investing every single day, because every day I buy in my $5, it keeps going up. Whereas if you bought in right at the beginning of the month and it continues to go up, you actually would have ended up with more shares at more value. So it's not always apples to apples in this case, because we don't know the condition of the market. In 2022, that's just what happened. Now, because you're sticking with me through the video, do you know most people like click off by now? But because you're sticking with me, I'm gonna give you access to this entire Google sheet. You're gonna be able to like plug in your own numbers, figure it out yourself, or if you wanna just mess around with different stocks, you can have this. All you have to do is in the description of the video, it's gonna be at the very bottom because I wanna give it only to the people that actually watch this far into the video. So go over there, click on it, it'll bring you over here, click on file, and then make a copy. That's how you're gonna have to do this in order to actually take this and use it as your own. So let's give some FOMO to the people who like to leave videos early. Drop a comment down below with, oh, that ending of the video was on point. And let me tell you why. Let's grow this to over 500,000 or $1 million. Let me show you what I mean. Well, let's assume a 10% growth rate because that is the average of the S&P 500, as I mentioned earlier. Right over here on calculator.net, if we plug in that $105 a month that we looked at earlier, for the next 40 years at an average rate of 10%, compounded annually with $105 contributed at the beginning of every single month, your calculation will bring you up to an ending balance of $592,186. And that's only $5 a day or $105 a month. That's it. The goal would be you continue to scale up your income, you continue to find new ways to invest more, and that number will go even further. So check it out. The best part about that is you only contributed $50,400 through the life of those 40 years. The interest, or the growth in other words, was $541,000. That's money that grew on top of your investment strategy. That's really the goal here, guys. And if you have time on your side, take advantage of it. Now, if you're 50 or 60 or 70, that doesn't mean give up. It just means that you're gonna have to focus on the fact that you're not gonna see numbers like that unless you increase your investment amount and can hold off for a long period of time, let's be honest. Now, if you could double that to $10 a day, let's say that's now $210 a month, look at the big difference here. Now, if you're 18 for the next 40 years, by the time that you're 58 years old, $10 a day, you're gonna be a millionaire at $1.1 million. And I know that there's people out there that will comment below, yes, but money is going lower now, and inflation is gonna eat up all that money. What's your plan otherwise? What's your plan? Are you just gonna say, well, inflation, so I'm just not gonna do it? Well, I don't get it. Or are you gonna try to make more than $1 million? In that case, you better triple that investment or quadruple it. Figure out a way to get out of debt so you can have more money to invest. The point is, I don't understand that comment because otherwise you're gonna be kind of, at the end of the day, 40 years from now, who's gonna have more money at the end of it? Weird, right? Check out this video next for more personal finance and we'll see you on the next video.